Let's talk small business. The Real Talk, No BS podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to grow and actually enjoy the ride. I'm Mitchell Wilson. Let's get into it. Today's guest brings a unique combination of corporate leadership and experience with over 2 decades teaching meditation and breathwork across the globe. Shalin Desai is a senior program director with the Art of Living Foundation, which is an organization focused on improving mental and physical and emotional well-being in over 180 countries. Now, he also works with the Institute of Absolute Intelligence, where he facilitates something pretty unique, an intuitive life scan. Now, this is not just theory. It's a real-time experimental way to surface insight and clarity, especially value for leaders navigating pressure and uncertainty. So, if you've ever felt mentally overloaded, and really in business, who hasn't, this conversation is going to be incredibly useful. Shalin, let's talk small business.
Thank you, Mitchell. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so first of all, you've had both that corporate career and decades in the wellbeing space. What led you down this path?
Actually, I'm very lucky. I got introduced to wellness, to breathing exercise and meditation at the age of 16. My mother had done it, my mom had done it, and she absolutely loved it. And she didn't stop there. She's kind of got me and my brother into it. And, at the age of 16, you don't care much about meditation or breathing exercises. I mean, you're busy enjoying life, doing other things in life. But because my mom asked me to, I'm like, all right, you know what, let me just go ahead and give it a shot. So I did the Art of Living course. The organization that I'm part of is called the Art of Living. And at that time, I just did the course. And I did the course, and I did the main breathing exercise that is taught in the course is called the sky breathing. And the very first time I did that, I was blown away. I mean, that day, I remember I came home, I went to bed, and I've always been a good sleeper. I sleep well. But that day when I came home, and the way I slept that night and I woke up next morning, I had never felt that fresh in my life until then. I'm like, this is like a new beginning. And so I'm like, this is pretty cool. And then I kind of kept up with it because I realized it's helping me with my focus and my concentration. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. I don't have to spend so much time studying. I can study less. I can have more time for other things in my life. I love sports and I had more time to do other things in my life. And so I kept up with it because without putting less time into my academics, I started getting better grades. My grades really, really improved. So I continued with it. I'm like, this is not a bad thing. You just spend 20, 25 minutes every day doing your breath work. And then you just, it helps you with all the other aspects of your life. So that's how I continued with it. Then I've got my master's in engineering. And then when I entered the corporate world, it brings up new set of challenges. And I realized that navigate, in whether it's business or corporate world, you need the hard skills, the technical skills on how to run the business. And then you need the soft skills, the way you interact with people, the way you deal with challenges. And I have learned now that I've taught programs, Mitchell, in the Art of Living programs in 63 cities in the US. I travel quite a bit, work with a lot of people. And I've realized the importance of this soft skills. And it really started helping me with my soft skills in my career, in my profession that I was in back then. And I remember we used to have this annual performance reviews with our manager, with our boss back then. And one of the annual reviews, my boss wrote in the system that Shalin is the only guy I see smiling on a Monday morning. And I'm like, all right, I didn't know it was that big of a deal. But, having happy people around you, having pleasant people around you makes a big difference. Mm. So I entered the corporate world, and I've been practicing my breathing exercises with the Art of Living. And at one point of time, it became very clear that I want to teach this to more people. I don't want to just keep it to myself. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got into teaching, and it's been a phenomenal journey so far.
So I need to mention, I'm probably not one to be into meditation and things like that. However, over the last couple of years, I will say that for 10 minutes, so not a long time, but 10 minutes each morning, that's actually been the first thing that I've been doing. So I've got an app on my phone. I just use the Headspace app. I'm sure there's plenty of them. I'm just looking at my phone now. I've done 6,000.
Very impressive.
So it's obviously I haven't been doing that since I've been 16. And starting my day right by doing that, I notice a big difference. And like you, I come to work smiling. So yeah, I find it really helpful. I can't explain it as to why. You're the expert there. But yeah, I just want to share that little thing with you that, yeah, I have only touched the surface, but I do believe in it.
And that's been I tell people that, for me, it's become like you take shower every day, that is bodily hygiene. You brush your teeth every day, that is dental hygiene. And the sky breathing, the breathing exercise that I do, I see it like a mental hygiene. And, this day and age, the pace at which our lives move, and we have so many things to do, it's so important that we prioritize the mental hygiene.
So what kinds of people or businesses do you typically work with today?
So I teach the programs in all size companies. I've taught programs in Fortune 500 companies, Microsoft, BCG, Accenture, many of the top pharmaceutical companies. I won't go into the names and all, but work with a lot of big companies. I've also worked with a lot of small companies, because I found that the small businesses, it's everywhere, but I've observed up close more with smaller businesses that usually the owners have so much to do and only so many resources. And they don't have the wherewithal of, an army of 100 people focusing on executing one task. Usually it's one guy working on 100 different things. And that's where I've seen that it's so important to have that focus and that clarity of what you want to do and how soon you want to get things done and how you can effectively execute that. I'll share an example. This is in a bank. I was teaching a program, and this one lady, she was a VP at the bank. This was in New York. And on the last day of the course, the Sky Breathing, the Art of Living program I was teaching, she came to me and she's like, I want to share something very interesting with you. I'm like, yeah. So she's like, last year has been very tough on me. I went through a very very bad divorce, and it took a toll on me. And I was exhausted mentally and emotionally. So she's like, I booked a trip to Hawaii, and I'm like, I need a break. And she's like, I was sitting in Kauai, one of the islands there, and it's like pristine, beautiful sunset. And she's like, Shalin, I was only able to enjoy that for 10 minutes. After that, my mind was again filled with the same thoughts of anger, anguish, anxiety, and whatnot. And she's like, yesterday, after doing the breath work, when I was going home, I was in a cab and people were honking. In New York, people honk. The drivers are not the best drivers. And it's like people were so chaotic around me. But even then, I was so blissful. I was so calm. And she's like, that's when I realized that how important it is to keep the mind happy and calm and sane. And for business people, that is very important, because otherwise it's so easy to get lost in the noise of the things that you want to do. And sometimes you become so myopic, like so short-sighted, you lose the big picture with everything that's going on. And this clarity of mind lets you to do that, lets you focus on the big picture.
Now, look, I'm not sure whether this is meditating, but Hawaii, it's a place I love. I've been many times. But in saying that, every week or so, I also go to Hawaii during my lunch break. So I will put on some beach noises, put my timer on, lay down in the sun for 10 minutes and just pretend I'm there. And you know what? I could be laying on a beach in Hawaii or anywhere, and it's the same feeling. And you know what? I loved that. Maybe meditation may not be, but it was a good thing to have a holiday there every week. So I'll suggest that. Hey, from your perspective, what's actually happening to business owners when they feel constantly overwhelmed? And you hit on it before, small business owners, they're wearing all the hats. They're doing everything. They have limited resources. And, that's doing a lot of damage to them, their mental well-being. What do you think is happening to them when they're in that state constantly?
Happening to what? The last part?
What is happening to the owners? What is happening to their minds when they're always in that state of overwhelm?
Yeah. No, I mean that's a very, very good question, because I see that very often. And I have a simple definition of stress. Stress is what you have too many things to do, too much to do, and you only have so much time and energy or resources. Too many things to do is only so much time, and that causes stress. Now, you cannot always bring down the number of things to do. But what you can do is you can increase your energy levels. And when the energy levels are higher, that's when things don't become overwhelming anymore. It's usually what happens, it's a downward spiral. It's a catch-22. You get overwhelmed, and then your energy levels go down. Your functioning, your efficiency further goes down.
Mm-hmm.
So it defeats the whole purpose of feeling. It's unless and until you figure out a way to be more productive, to be more efficient, to be able to do a lot more in a shorter period of time, this feeling of overwhelmingness is going to stay. And when the feeling of overwhelmingness stays and it persists for a long time, not only it harms the way you want to grow your business, it also harms your own mental state. And when the mental state is not good, nothing you do will be productive.
How do you think that affects decision making when it comes to business?
It's simple. You end up going into the reaction mode than acting mode. What is the difference between reaction and action? Like action is you think and you take an action. But reaction is you take an action and you end up regretting afterwards. And so many times I've seen when I work with business owners, and certain things come, most of the times it's the things which are outside of their control, they have no control over. And some situations change, some things change. I was working with a business, I had a call with them late last week. And due to the war, the gas prices have gone up drastically. And it's affecting their bottom line. Now, it's not in their control. There's nothing they can do about it. But many times it's those kind of situations where you can't do much about, it's out of your control, but you keep thinking about it, keep bothering, keep putting yourself in that low energy mode. And then whatever solution also was going to come to you doesn't come to you very easily. In fact, see, it's very interesting how our mind works. This mind constantly keeps vacillating between the past and the future. When the mind is too much in the past, you have this thoughts of regrets, angers, or something really good has happened. You keep thinking about it. And the mind is too much in the future, it causes so much anxiety. But the life is happening in this present moment now. And this constant vacillation between the past and the future causes so much stress in your nervous system. And with the help of the breath, we're able to bring a mind more to the present moment. And I was talking to you, Mitchell, about the sky breathing that we teach in the Art of Living program. Recently, just 2 years ago, there was a big study done at the Yale University. It's one of the top universities in the world. And they took a control, because forget businessmen, even students are experiencing anxiety, depression, low motivation and all that. It's a bit sad, but that's how it is. So they took a control group of students doing the sky breathing. And they had another control group of students doing the mindfulness-based stress reduction. And then third control group had Yale's own emotional intelligence program. Yale has their own program, emotional intelligence program. They did that. And the fourth group did not do anything. It was kind of placebo effect. Mm-hmm. And they found that over the few months where they did the study, they found that the students who were doing the sky breathing, it was the most effective. It reduced the stress hormone, the cortisol. It reduced the stress hormone. It increased the well-being hormone. It increased the oxytocin also in you. Mm-hmm. It reduces the anxiety, reduces the depression. So with the help, and as I mentioned, I'm an engineer. For me, things have to make logical sense. So I always, what I was doing, I'm like, what's the science behind it? Show me why. I know it's working. I see it's working for me every day. But what's the science behind it? And now we have more than 100 independent scientific studies on this thing and how it works, how it reduces your stress hormone, increases your well-being. And naturally, when the stress hormone goes down, you're naturally more in the present moment. You're more in the present moment. You're more effective and efficient.
So we'll get practical fairly soon, but how quickly can someone expect to feel a difference when they start applying some of these techniques?
I've seen from day one, you start seeing the benefits. And it kind of helps over a period of time, As this one person I was working with, and I met them after a month after they'd taken the program. And then they're like, it's helping, but I'm still very short-tempered. I still get angry easily. So then I asked them, I'm like, I understand it's okay. And I'm like, it's okay to get angry. Tell me one thing, how often does the anger stay when you get angry now? And I was like, that's a good point. When the anger comes, it doesn't last that longer anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's not like overnight you're going to become a superhuman and you're not going to get any negative emotions, but you're going to have a much better say over when those things come over, and you start seeing benefits from day one.
What do you think is a common mistake people make when trying to start something new like meditation, mindfulness, or breathing? What is a common mistake that you think people do most often?
I would say give it some time. Just to expect. I've nothing wrong about folks who meditate on the app, and I've also used that in the past. But many times people have come and they've tried meditation, and they're like, it's just not for me. I sit with my eyes closed and I just daydream, and I travel to all these beautiful places. I come back and I don't know if I'm visualizing, I'm daydreaming, or I'm actually meditating. And that's why it's important to also. My recommendation is to learn it from an instructor. It's like trying to learn swimming from an app or a YouTube video. It's not just always good to, but when you have a guide, an instructor who's guiding you through it, it really, really helps. So kind of you can connect with them, you can share that these are my experiences, this is what's working, this is what's not working. They can guide you through it. And it makes the whole journey very, very beautiful and very helpful and effective.
Now, a memory's just come flooding back. You picked up on this when you were 16. Well, when I was 18, I went to a leadership camp for school, and I do remember we all had to lay on the grass, and we had an instructor there that was taking us through some meditation. And I do remember finishing that meditation and getting up and like, oh, okay, that was 5 minutes. And he said, no, we've been doing this for over an hour. And I'm like, what? Yeah. I should have taken the cue to actually go, you know what, this is good, let's carry on. Obviously I didn't, 18-year-old. But yeah, that memory just sort of came back, and I was super amazed. I can still remember that right now. So yeah, and that was like an instructor-led. Okay, let's get a little bit practical. How do you make these tools realistic for someone running a busy business today? What do we do?
I would say start with some 15-20 minutes breathing exercise or something. It's very easy. You can even go to our website, artofliving.org. Art of Living is one of the world's largest volunteer-based organizations. We teach these programs in 186 countries around the country. So it's quite big. You can even go to YouTube and look for Art of Living meditations. And you can start with something like that. In a lot of companies now, which have started doing meals and meditation. So before meal, before doing the lunchtime, people just come together. They do a guided meditation for 10-15 minutes. And after that, they have the meals. And it brings this whole culture of working together, because sometimes, you have so much going on, you're under so much stress, and then you start looking for faults at somebody else, that somebody else is not doing their part. And that finger pointing starts and all those things happen. So when you do this and people come together, increases the whole concept of working together as a team. It makes the team click. So something like that they can start with, maybe meals and meditation, or even start the day by playing a meditation video online on YouTube.
I can just imagine a whole lot of business owners going now, you know what, I haven't got time for this, and keep on pushing through. But look, I'll say, honestly, if you do this, you'll get more done. Yeah. Okay.
Can I share an anecdote on this? You kind of nailed this thing exactly. Many years ago, there was this guy. He's a woodcutter. He's a tree cutter. So he was hired by this guy who has a small forest to cut some trees there. And this guy is super hardworking. So the very first day, he gets to work at 8 a.m. and just starts chopping trees. The first day is able to chop 30 trees, cut 30 trees. And then second day is able to cut 25 trees. By the fourth day, he was only able to cut 10 trees. And by the end of the week, so numbers kept just going down. He was to about 3 trees. So the owner of the place is like, what's wrong? Why is this guy not able to chop more trees? And he goes and observes this guy. So guy observes this guy over the last few days. And what he finds is that this guy is so hardworking, that he did not take any time out. He did not take any time off to sharpen the axe. He thought that, if I take the time out to sharpen my axe, I'm going to waste some time. But in the process, he was not able to do his job effectively. So this thing is not about spending time. It's just sharpening the axe, sharpening the mind, so you can get a lot more done in a short period of time.
I like it. Okay. Mentioned at the start, tell us, what is an intuitive life scan?
So, Mitchell, lately what I've started doing, and I've been doing this with business owners and different people from different, I've even done it with some of the CEOs of in Silicon Valley. And it's this intuitive abilities that I've developed where you're able to see through people's past, present, and future. Any question they have, they can ask that, and they can, I can answer those questions. And it's amazing what all comes through that. So usually I close my eyes. What I do is I close my eyes for a few moments, and I share a few things about the person. In this case, it will be you maybe. And I'll share a few things, and you can ask me any questions you want.
So we're going to do this right now, are we?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Let's do it. I'm game. Righto. So I'll let you lead the way. This is all new to me. I have no idea what's going to be going on. So listeners, follow along. See what's going to happen with an intuitive life scan.
Okay. So I'm going to just close my eyes for a few moments, and then I'll share a few things, and you can ask me any questions you have.
What kind of questions should I be asking?
Anything that you can think of. There are no bars. It can be about profession, personal, relationship, anything you want to ask. Okay? Mitchell, you like traveling? That's one aspect of your life that you don't usually compromise. You like to travel, not just travel. You like to have new experiences. You're not someone who I just like to go and sit on a beach. I'm going to go and sit on a beach. You like to go to different places. You like to get different experiences. You like fun. You like adventure that way.
I do.
And that's a very important aspect of your life. Other parts of your life you can compromise. This part of your life you will not compromise. And you're quite passionate about that, and you're good at it. You're good at it. Not just that, you're also very good at connecting with new people. You can meet somebody, you can have a conversation with them, and within few minutes, you can make them your friend. You're have that knack when you connect with people. And it's good, and that's going to get better and better over a period of time. That's going to it's going to increase that ability of yours. You're good at what you're doing, but you're going to get even better at what you're doing. I mean, even professionally, it's your business, what you're working on, that business aspect of yours is going to grow in the next 2 to 3 years. And you'll also end up traveling more for your work, actually.
Well, I'm looking forward to going to China later this year. And one of the big things is going to Singapore to watch Formula One race. I'm into it. I've just never been to one. I wish I'd gone to Formula One race with my dad, who was into it, but unfortunately he passed away a few years. So yeah, that's probably a good focus for me coming up in the coming months. Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're going to travel for work, you're going to travel for fun, and you're not a boring person who just go have one kind of experience. You are someone who will have different kind of experiences. You like that, and you don't shy away from those things. Even to a point, in that part, if you want to edit out from our podcast, you can edit out. Even if you have to compromise your relationships and do this thing, you'll do these things.
Okay, righto. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's your passion.
Okay, so
one more question I have for you.
Yeah.
Are you in the process of buying or selling or thinking of getting a different place or something?
No, not a house. Went for a new car to turn up. That's probably the biggest purchase. A new car to turn up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do see in your thing either you'll be acquiring something new, either a new place, or it could be a new vehicle. You may be acquiring something new in next latest by middle of next year.
Okay.
So that may also happen. That's on the horizon for you.
Righto. I will look forward to that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So explain to me what was just happening, because to be honest, I could be sitting here and maybe the things that you said could have been relevant to most people. I'm not sure. What were you actually doing?
So what I've seen, like through this meditation, this intuitive things comes up, and I'm able to see things about what's going on for them, what's going to come for the future for them. Somebody recently that I was connected with, they were a CEO of a company, and nowadays a lot of people are you rely on data, and they're also relying on intuition. And they had certain questions about their company. It's a huge company. They have thousands of employees, and there are certain questions. And they were skeptic to begin with. So they asked certain things, and they found that what I was sharing with them was accurate. And then we went dug deeper into it, and they were sharing that afterwards, that because any decision they make, it influences thousands of employees, not just one person, and there are billions of dollars involved. So, and they found lately that intuition has come as a big role to play in that, because there's an ability of ours and faculty of ours that has not been explored enough. As kids, you're taught so much that, okay, you have to study, get a degree, and based on your education, your intellectual ability, you answer certain things, you perform certain things in your life. But intuition has a big role to play nowadays.
So you're using your intuition after meeting me to figure out, if I'm looking deep, this is actually what I see.
Yes.
I like it. So different than fortune telling.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's not, no. There's something way more cool and way more, I think, spot on accurate I've found.
Okay, awesome. So what's the next step for someone like me, for instance, to go deeper into this if I wanted to?
I would highly recommend doing the Art of Living program. I'm sure we have programs in New Zealand also, and doing programs. And it's a 3-day workshop taught over 3 hours each day. Just go and experience that, and then you can start practicing. What I found, a lot of people, one of the biggest things concern people have is that, I'm really good at starting something, but I'm not that good at seeing it through, or, following up afterwards. And in Art of Living, we have this beautiful support structure where you take the program with an instructor, and after that, we have a community of people who are also doing breathing along with you. Once a week, we have meetups online or in person. You can take the meetup online or in person. There's a huge support structure. So we found that most people who take the program continue practicing it over years.
Look, I got to admit, I haven't heard of you guys before. I've got the website right in front of me here, The Art of Living. Your reach in numbers. So 44 years of service, it says, in 180 countries, 40,000 plus instructors, and over 1 billion people reached. That's probably going to say something for itself, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get into some rapid fire sort of questions for you right now. What do you think is the one habit that has the biggest impact on your clarity? What should someone be doing if we were to pick one habit?
Prioritizing my mental health.
What do you think is something that business owners overcomplicate that should be simple?
Too much focus on the small picture, not the big picture.
Like that. What do you reckon the best advice you've ever received about leadership is?
It's a beautiful combination of heart and head both. You just cannot do from one aspect. You cannot just operate from heart or cannot just operate from the head. Both the things are there.
And I got to say, look, I've never seen or read a book that says this is the exact way that it needs to be done. It is a bit of an art form as well. So if someone is feeling stuck right now, they're overwhelmed in business, what do you reckon is the first step that they should take to try and start to get some form of clarity or release from some of the stress?
I would say start meditating every day, even if for a few minutes. Meditation or breath work. You need to take care of your own mind before you can fix things outside.
I like that.
Fix yourself first before you fix. I also travel a lot, Mitchell. I travel quite a bit. And, I give those flight examples. In the flight, they say, right, first put your own oxygen mask and then help the person next to you. First fix yourself, then fix things around in your life.
My 9-year-old son was just listening to a song just yesterday, which was Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. And he was listening to the lyrics, and it's like, if you want to change the world, you need to, change yourself first. And so I thought, oh yeah, okay, love or hate Michael Jackson itself as the person. I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good message that came out of that song.
Yeah, very true actually.
Yeah. Okay, now from here, I just want to say thank you. This has been a nice and different kind of conversation, but in a really good way. There's a lot that I guess business owners can actually take out of this and just apply immediately. Now, for yourself, where can people find you or learn more or experience this kind of work for themselves?
So they can either go to our website. It's simple. The website is Art of Living, artofliving.org. They can go to the website, or they can even ping me on Instagram. My handle is my first name Shalin, last name Desai, all one word, Shalin Desai. They can ping me on Instagram as well.
Brilliant. So, if you're listening to this episode and it got you thinking differently about yourself, your business, whether it's sales systems or strategy, that is the point. So if you do want help identifying your biggest bottleneck, mapping out your next smart move, you can also book a free breakthrough session through myself and the Coach Birds team. Thank you again. Really appreciate your time. And I guess for everyone listening, remember this: better decisions come from a clearer mind. And that is something you can actually train. So sharpen your axe. Thanks. Let's talk small business. I appreciate you tuning in. If you got value, hit subscribe, like, or drop a comment. It spreads the word and might just help another legend get their breakthrough.